Good morning and hello everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday class again. I'll wait a moment for you to all log on because sometimes I know it takes a minute for the computer to settle, but you can say hello in the chat. It's lovely to have you all here. We love our international team where we all join for our Wednesday morning midweek kind of check-in and making sure we're all doing well in our health and well-being. Oh, lovely. Everyone's popping on, and we've got Shakura in the chat. So if there's any questions and anything you're not sure about or anything you wish to share, she'll look after you there in the chat. And you'll have to apologise. I foolishly left my glasses at home. So if any time I'm squinting at you all, it's because I'm trying to see the screen. But anyway, that's great. We will begin this morning just really having a bit of a calmer start, mainly because we're starting to work our way up the CV channel. A couple of weeks ago I started us off on I think CV3, so it's a bladder bow point, and you had Shakura last week. I think she did CV6 near the belly button. We're drawing up to our lovely point of the week, which is CV12. It's a stomach bow point. So to begin with, we'll start slowly and a bit more settled this morning, so we can allow any of the stomach energy to really draw downwards, so we don't feel too nauseous at all. Oh, lovely. Everyone's saying hello in the chat. That's absolutely wonderful. Yes. Bring your tea along as well. If you're sipping your first morning tea, have it on the side, and anytime you need to, please take a rest as well. All right, so to begin with, I'm going to come and sit on a bolster. You might want to sit on a chair or cross-legged, but sometimes I think it's quite nice to prop ourselves up with lots of cushions and bolsters to ease off the knees and allow the hips to really settle. So the CV channel runs up the front of the body, and we started from kind of joining in from the root chakra, the base where the CV channel begins, and we moved up through the belly button and the dantian, and we're coming to also the solar plexus chakra today. So if our base is nice and open, the rest of the body hopefully feels a lot freer and easier on the top. So really nice and easy to begin with. You can either rest your hands on your legs, whether you're sitting on a chair or on the floor, or if it feels much easier to have touch connected in, just want to place one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest. And you can have an easy breath just to begin with. Nice and gentle, checking where the breath is pouring into your body. You might notice it just in at the nostrils, or maybe it's pouring down the throat, gently coming into the chest. Perhaps it's filling the belly, or going all the way down to your feet, allowing the legs to fill with breath and true Qi as well, pure Qi. Okay, we're going to do a breath exercise called the wave breath, used a lot in yoga, but I think it's really nice to connect in with our CV channel on the front. If there's any blockages in the breath and you're feeling that the breath isn't going down as far as you wish to, please don't panic. We're just going to work with where it's sitting today. We're going to come back to this breath right at the end, just to tune in and check in, see if anything's changed at all. But there's no pressure for it to have changed, and there's nothing wrong if it doesn't, okay? So I always find if we're working with the breath that, oh, why hasn't it got bigger or deeper and I want it to go down further? When panic sets in, it obviously doesn't have our breathing. So it's a hideous irony. Anyway, so either placing the hand one on the chest and one on the belly, easy breath, or you might want to have the hands relaxed if visualizing these areas is easier. We're going to start to breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. You can have the eyes closed if that's comfortable, or gently relaxing the eyes. Drawing in through the nose and out through the mouth. You might notice where it's easier to breathe in or where it perhaps isn't going so easily. So I've noticed that around my diaphragm, particularly around the back, it's a bit quieter than I would like. I'd like some more fuller breath going in there, but I'm not going to force anything to change. Just checking, noticing where the breath sits. All right. So what we're going to do with our breath is we're going to breathe in through the nose, fill the chest area, keep breathing in, and then seeing if we can allow the belly to fill up as well. And then as we breathe out, the belly's going to draw back and allow the out breath to be gently squeezed out, and then the upper chest. So it's like we're filling the upper lungs and then the lower lungs, and then the air's going out the lower lungs and out the upper lungs. Really, again, rest when you need to. Take a breather in between if the controlled breath is getting a little bit too much for you. But this really does connect in with calming the nervous system down and allowing the CV channel to be calm as well down the front of the body. So let's try a few of these and we'll return to this breath at the end to see what's gone on and notice any difference. All right, so easy pelvis, nice and easy and relaxed on the sitting bones, and the shoulders are easy as well, just checking in with the shoulders and head and neck. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, allowing the chest to gently fill, and then the belly. And then as we breathe out, the belly draws in, and then the chest can start to empty the air. Wonderful. Breathing in through the nose, filling the chest, and then filling the belly, and then drawing the belly back as we breathe out, and then allowing the chest to rest. Again, not forcing anything, just seeing how the body is riding the wave of the breath. So just allowing this one to be your last one here, and then we're going to return to an easy, natural breath. And if the hands are placed on the chest and the belly, we're just going to allow them to move away. You can still have your eyes closed here. We're just going to check in and see how we're feeling. Whether that be the busyness of your day ahead, or perhaps there's nothing to do at all. Maybe it's that moment where we're just tuned in with the breath. You might notice something going on here. Or if there's anything physically as well, any tension or any kind of struggle to kind of wake up or allow ourselves to be easily sitting. So just noticing what's going on. I'm just going to open my eyes. You can do the same as well. I'm going to see if I can find a poll for us to do. It looks like everyone's really chatting away this morning. Yes, so on the exhale, it's just to draw the belly back. You can engage the pelvic floor as well, but it was mainly to draw in the belly button. I kind of imagine the belly button drawing back to kiss the spine at the back, but pelvic floor engagement is great as well. All right, I'm going to see if I can squint away and find this poll for you. So where is it? There's quite a few here. So I'm going to share a question. When you breathe in, where does the lowest part of the breath go to? So I'm just going to share this and see how that was for you this morning. That's great. Well, so far it looks like it's mainly going to the upper abdomen and the lower abdomen, which is really wonderful. A few of you mainly breathing in the lungs. Obviously, we all breathe in the lungs, but in the chest, yeah, or the side of the ribs. That's great. Okay. That's great. Oh, yeah, Jane, that's wonderful. Yes, that's it. So we want to create more space around the pelvis, so we don't necessarily have to engage with our pelvic floor. Wonderful. Okay, so the great thing is on that poll, seems like you're doing fairly well, which is the next poll that I want to put up. It looks like nobody's breathing in very shallowly at the top of the lungs, which is wonderful. So the next poll I'm going to put up, and then we're going to come to do some movement in a moment, is, where is it? Here we are. Just to see how we're all coping. How are you doing? So I've just popped that up on there. Okay. Oh, already quite a lot of you seem to be stressed. So, one person's very stressed. So hopefully by 11, we're going to feel a lot more chilled, and we can use these movements and breath work throughout the rest of the week if you need to. Like when you put the kettle on in the morning, we can just check in where the breath is, maybe do some doing and tapping to undo the stress a little bit. Yeah, okay. So a few of you neutral. Yeah, some doing really well. That's wonderful. It's really wonderful news. But there's a little group, about 30% of you are either stressed or very stressed. So let's see if we can help you out there. All right, I'm just going to show as well if I can get it up here. Yes, here we are. I want to share with you our CV channel of where it starts and where we're moving up to. So at the minute, we are on CV 12. So it's the point of the week. We're going to go in between the belly button and the bottom of the sternum bone, which is connecting in with our solar plexus chakra as well. This point is also a stomach bow point. And a lot of the time, not necessarily always, but when we're stressed, it can sit and go straight to the stomach, creating like digestive issues or stress moving upwards. We've got this wonderful thing called the stomach rebellious key, because our stomach movement energy should move downwards. It makes sense. We eat our food and it should draw downwards. When the energy rebels and go upwards, there's all sorts of complications like acid reflux, vomiting, heat to the head, all sorts of things that we're going to look at a little bit later. So I'm going to move across the slides very quickly, looking at the points we've done already and coming to the chakras. So we've looked a little bit at the root chakra, and then the sacral chakra, and we're moving up to the third chakra, the solar plexus. And it also is in Indian medicine, the element is fire, which I think sits wonderfully with our Chinese medicine energy and type of or what am I thinking of, flavor or theme with the stomach and the spleen. It's like our cooking pot within the body. So our and the fire in the belly. Okay, I'm going to quit whittling on. Time is moving swiftly, and I'm going to close the slides here. So that's a little bit about our chakras. All right, super. Let's come up to standing so we can start to tune in, shake out a little bit more, and undo the stresses of our day already. So super easy, just walking the feet in the ground. Yeah, allowing the toes to rest and spread, and dropping the heels in the ground as well. This is going to really help create a nice base for us connecting in with the feet this morning. Easy ankles, easy knees. Allow some movement in through the legs and the hips. And the spine can gently move along with the ripple from the feet all the way up to the head. Easy breath. Wonderful. All right. And then allowing the weight to rest equally through the feet and allowing them to spread. Just going to roll the shoulders forward and back, allowing ease through the shoulder girdle. Lovely. All right. So I thought we could start with some shaking and our self-kenbiki. So you might want to hold on to something, either a wall or a chair. Shifting the weight into one leg, we're going to take a foot off the floor and shake out the toes, allowing every single bone to undo and relax. Seeing if you can really get them moving this morning. Allowing the sole of the foot and the heel to undo. I'm going to go up the ankle. You can rest the foot on the floor and pick it up anytime you need to. Into the lower leg, into the knee, into the thigh. Allow that whole huge thigh bone to be moved. Wonderful. And making sure you've got space behind you, you can take the leg in a little bit of a swing. If this is too much for the hip and lower back, place the heel on the floor, soften into that supporting leg, and take the leg for a rock either side. You can also do this one sitting with the leg lengthened and rocking the leg in the hip socket. So doing whichever feels comfortable for you this morning. Brilliant. And then giving that a nice shake out. Ooh, got a nice fluffy left leg. All right, so we're going to pour the weight into the one we've just worked, and then shifting the weight onto that leg and undoing the toes of the other foot. Ooh, it might feel, one side feels very different to the other. Seems like I've got something extra sticky on my right ankle. Really want to allow that to let go to the ankle and lower leg. Easy breath. Oh, that's much better. I can feel that shifting. Perhaps thinking of shaking down, shaking off anything on the leg that you don't want or need, into the knee and the thigh. Wonderful. And the same thing again. You might want to swing the leg back and forth, allowing the hip to really undo, and it can be a small swing, or you might really want to go for a much larger swing this morning, or placing the heel on the floor and allowing the leg just to rock in that hip socket, helping to undo the hip flexors at the front. Wonderful. Lovely. And then coming back to a nice easy parallel. Can be hip shoulder width or a little bit wider. So we've got lovely open legs. That's great. I'm going to come to the hands. I'm just going to allow the hands to shake out and undo. Yeah. Allowing the fingertips, and it might be more of a gentle shaking this morning. Or you might feel, yeah, no, I really need to get something off. So you can go a little bit more vigorously if that feels like you need to. Right. Into the wrists and lower arms. Easy breath. To the elbows. Don't worry what you look like. We've got cooked spaghetti limbs into the upper arm and the shoulders. And if there's any shoulder issue, keep the arms lower, especially if this is painful to lift the arms, keep them much lower. You might really want to allow the ribs and shoulders to join in as well. Super, giving that good old shake out. Oh, lovely. So we've done our 4 limbs, and I like to connect in with the other limbs, our tailbone and head. So allowing the knees to be soft, and you can imagine that your tailbone is much longer, perhaps like a cat or a lion, imagining the tail kind of swishing behind, and the spine is slowly moving, or gently moving, I should say, with the tail movement. So initiating from our coccyx. Wonderful. And the same with the head, it's gently spiraling on the top of our spine. If you want to stay at this pace, you can be even slower and much smaller with the movement as well, doing whatever feels good for your tail and lower back this morning. If you wish to, you might want to kind of go much quicker and really get the tail moving. Allow the arms to relax. That's allowing the ribs to move as well. Oh, I think I needed that one to really help open that block that I felt this morning round my diaphragm at the back of the ribs, and the shoulders to move as well, and the head to relax with it. Wonderful. All right, and then allowing that shaking of the tail and the spine and head just to gently resolve. Might want to move the legs again. Great. Hopefully everyone's doing all right in the chat. I think Shakur is right on it. Wonderful. There's a question. I'll come back to that a little bit later. All right. So before we come to sitting, finding our wonderful kidney 1 point in the feet and connecting in with the CV channel, I thought we could, instead of do in our tapping, I'd like to connect in with more of a brushing feeling throughout the body, which helps calm the nervous system and engages the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the one that's going to help us to breathe easier, sleep better, and digest much more easily as well. And it connects in nicely. I've got our polyvagal chart, which I'll come back to later, in the green zone. So when we connect in and allow our parasympathetic nervous system to really engage, we can be in this lovely area here. Perhaps when we're stressed, we're in this one. And if we're super stressed out and not doing so well, we can go into the freeze state. We looked at this a long time ago with Cliff. So we're going to connect in with our parasympathetic nervous system. You can do this sitting as well if you need to and want to, or we can come to standing. So I'm going to rub the hands together. Easy breath. The feet are nicely connected into the ground. Ankles are soft, knees are soft. Pelvis is gently resting on the top of the femur bones. And the rest of the body can easily float upwards. So we're making some heat and Qi in the hands. And we're going to start at the head, at the face. And we're just going to place the hands either side of the eyes, around the front of the forehead. If you don't want to touch your face, you can do this off the body, which is completely fine as well. And we're just going to start to, it's kind of like a firm but gentle brush. We're brushing from the eyebrows down the sides of the head. And then we're going to start to brush down the front of the cheeks to the jaw. Wonderful. Brushing down. If any of you are Shiatsu practitioners or know a lot more about where the channels are, this is also where the stomach channel starts underneath the eyes. down the front of the face. I'm going to connect that in with our point of the week really soon. Gently brushing. And then we're going to brush round the sides of the heads and up and over. So imagine, I don't know, maybe we're on a tropical beach somewhere and we're brushing some wonderful warm water over the body, over the head, round the ears and the back of the skull. Easy breath. Wonderful. Then gently lifting the chin up. This is a much more gentle touch on the front of the throat, allowing like down strokes on the throat from the chin and jaw down to the collarbone. And as well as calming the nervous system down, this is a really good movement and exercise for helping the lymphatic system to drain. So allowing all the lymph glands around the throat and into the chest and armpits to gently drain and run much smoother. Wonderful. And then we're going to come down to the chest. So gently brushing the front of the chest. And then we're going to extend one arm out. So from the chest down, the shoulder, brushing down to the hand. You might want to move the shoulder and brush down the back of the arm, reaching to wherever feels comfortable. You might want to brush from the armpit, the inside of the arm down to the hands. So gently but firmly brushing. Oh, it's a very calming thing to do. Kind of connects in a little bit with anyone who has a pet at home. They say stroking brushing your pet is very calming for your nerves. So if you don't have a pet, you can brush yourself, it works just as well. Wonderful. And then coming back to the chest again, we're going to extend the other arm down. So from the shoulder, brushing down, we've got a lovely long one here so we can allow the breath in. Lovely. Brushing down the center of the arm. Might turn the arm to get to the back. Lovely. Easy breath. Maybe from the armpit down to the palm. Wonderful. And then coming back to the chest again, we're just going to brush down the sternum, brushing down the CV channel at the front, onto the belly. Might want to brush either side of the ribs as well. And go at your own speed. You might want to go much slower and smoother than I am this morning. Or perhaps you feel like, you really need to brush something off. So going at a rate and a pace that feels good for you. Just going to turn around so you can see the next bit. I'm going to soften the knees and allow my head to curl forward. And I'm not going to jam my arms up too high, but just a little, so my shoulders are still relaxed. I'm using the back of my hands. I'm going to brush down the lower back onto the sacrum, brushing around the kidney area and the back of the ribs and the bottom of the lungs. So allowing the movement to gently brush downwards. Great. And then we're going to come back up with the upper body and move down to the sides of the legs. We're going to brush down the legs. We're not going to brush back up, straight down, because we want to help the nervous system to really relax and engage in our parasympathetic nervous system. So brushing down, only going as far as is comfortable. You can also do this sitting as well. So if you can't get to your feet, we're going to imagine we're getting down to our feet. So softening the knees, allowing the head to relax as well, brushing down as far as is comfortable. You might just want to do one leg and then the other one, or both at the same time. And we can brush down the backs of the legs, sides, onto the front of the foot, pushing down the front and the inside. Really easing the legs down, brushing down the back again. Wonderful. So only going as far as is comfortable, even if it's just to the knees, thinking of it brushing down to the feet. Lovely. And then softening the knees, so even if we're sitting, gently take your time to come all the way back up to standing. Rolling the shoulders. Lovely. We're going to come to sitting. You can sit on the floor or the chair. I'm going to come and get the chair for us. I can see the chat is very busy this morning. I hope everything's all right in there. Wonderful. Okay, it's great. I'm glad you're enjoying the brushing. It's very calming. I definitely use it when I get stressed out. Because yes, even Shiatsu practitioners get stressed out from time to time. So we've got our pelvis nice and easy on the chair or either sitting on the floor. And we're just going to get a hold of one foot. If we can't catch our foot, you can do that old trick of using a tennis ball or a tumble dryer ball, or as someone's done before, use an apple, and you can place it on the floor and roll the foot round the ball, and that will help engage with the connective tissue to open and connecting in with our kidney 1, which we should all know by now, but I'm going to recap. So it's just underneath the ball of the foot between the big toe and second toe metatarsal. Yeah. So we can allow the fingertips in, or you might want to use the thumbs into that lovely point. Gently pressing and checking with how much pressure you need. It might be this morning that your feet feel particularly sensitive. You might want to be a bit more gentle. Mine definitely feels like it needs a good old workout there. So really sending lots of breath into that point. Great. Lovely. And then we're just going to take a hold of the whole foot and give it a nice squeeze. And then going down, perhaps the heel, allowing the heel to have some movement in. I've got one hand around my ankle and one moving the heel bone, the calcaneus. It moves in circles. It's quite an amazing bone in the foot. And then squeezing down the rest of the foot, sole of the foot and the top part as well, and then down the toes. Yeah, all of the toes gently squeezing. And then a couple of weeks back, I remember we did tapping of the foot, but how is it if we just stroke and brush the sole of the foot, allowing all the nerves in the foot to be gently calmed and soothed? It's kind of what we do when we're little, or when we're kids, or if we have kids around us or in our lives. If they upset or stressed out, usually a nice back rub calms them down. It's the same on our own body. We can allow some brushing to help the nervous system relax. And when that happens, we know our breath's going to be much easier as well. All right, let's swap to the other foot. So taking a hold of the other foot, or if you're using the tennis ball, moving to the other one. We're going to connect in with the kidney 1 underneath the sole of the foot. You might want to use the fingertips or the thumb. Yeah, easy breath. Checking in with your shoulders. It's an easy thing to do. Oh, this looks really good here. Just want to make sure we're still nice and open at the top of our body. Wonderful. Doing what it needs, seeing how much pressure and breath you need to send into this lovely point. And then we're just going to take a hold of the whole foot, giving it a nice old squeeze and wake up. Perhaps holding the ankle and rotating that lovely heel bone, calcaneus. Lovely. And then all the foot squeezing each toe, waking everything up gently. And then when you're ready, we're going to just come to brushing the sole of the foot as well. Wonderful. And then releasing that foot back down. All right. So I'll move sideways so we can see the next bit. I've got, we can do it sitting on the floor as well. You can have, if you're on a chair, have your feet nice and planted in the ground. So the feet are spread so they're not too far back or too far forward. We've got ease in the pelvis. So our root chakra, where the CV channel begins, and the pelvic floor can really rest in the chair and be grounded. Yeah. If we're sitting on the floor, we can connect in with the sitting bones, like with our feet into the ground. We're going to place the hands on the thighs, or if you're cross-legged, you can place them on the knees as well. We're going to do a seated cat-cow. So this is where we can allow the pelvis to curl forward, the pubic bone to lift forward a little bit, and then the chin to drop towards the chest. So we're gently curling the spine, and then moving from the pelvis to gently open the front of the body. Any neck issues, keep the head looking forward, but if you want, you can allow the face to draw up towards the sky, imagining we've got a cushion behind the head so we don't drop in the front of the throat. So curling as we breathe out, and then opening as we breathe in. So gently opening up this wonderful CV channel on the front of the body. Easy breath, allowing the spine to gently move. And don't worry, it can be a really tiny, tiny, subtle movement. Might just be rocking with the pelvis. Or perhaps this morning we really want to work with a much wider, larger movement of the spine and the breath. Easing out the CV channel at the front. Wonderful. Few more breaths here with the movement. Lovely. And I'm just going to come to gently uncurl. Ease the shoulders. You might want to relax the arms, shake the hands out a little bit more. Wonderful. So from here, we're going to stay seated and just do a little bit of a movement to help the space between the hips and the ribs. And then I'm going to come and share point of the week, and what the chakra is connected into that. So we can do this seated cross-legged or kneeling, or also on the chair. And use the hands on your legs, and depending on how much movement there is and ease in your lower back, if you can reach to your knees or just to the thighs, depending on what your lower back's doing. Rest when you need to, and all we're doing is a very gentle movement, rolling round the pelvis, gently creating a bit of space between the hips and the ribs, kind of making a spiral to create some freedom around the spine, the ribs and the diaphragm. So it's kind of like, I don't know if any of you remember, I think it was a TV show, the Weevils, and they've kind of got like a round bottom so they can never fall over. So it's this feeling that we can never fall over, and just gently rolling round the round base that we've got. It's nice and open, grounded, and easy to move from. And again, this might be a much smaller movement. You might want to reach a little bit further with the arms, easy through the elbows, making a little bit more space around the ribs and the mid-back. Lovely. And then gently change direction. So we're undoing the spiral the other way. And it might be that one way feels like it needs a bigger movement and the other way wants to be smaller. So having a little listen and tuning in with the body. Really doesn't matter if one side needs something different at all. Or you might be nicely even this morning. Easing out the spine and space between the hips and the ribs. Lovely. And we're gently going to draw this circling to spiral all the way in to come to sitting. Wonderful. And then easing the body back to a neutral, central rest. I don't know about you, but my breath feels a lot more settled in the body. All right, I'm going to come and find a slide for you. Again, please excuse my squinting without my glasses. Oh, very chatty in the chat. That's wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Very active. All right, so let's find these slides. We are going to have a little look at point of the week. Yes, here we are. CV12. It's also Ren 12. So our conception vessel, CB, is also called the Ren Mai. So if you have a little look on the internet or in a book later and you're wondering, is it Ren or is it CV? It's both. Just to, add a little bit of confusion, but there are two names for it. I've got this wonderful massive book that Cliff got ready for me on the point of the week. So as you can see on the slide, it harmonizes the middle burner, which we know is stomach and spleen, liver and gallbladder. So any stagnation or stress that's kind of hitting at this middle burner is wonderful point. This point is wonderful for releasing and harmonizing the middle burner. Any pain in the abdomen caused by emotion as well, this point will gently open and release any tension there. So I want to read a tiny little bit about what it does in this huge book here. So as well as it being the stomach bow point, it then obviously tonifies stomach and the spleen, resolves dampness and regulates stomach Qi. So we want the stomach Qi to draw downwards, which will hopefully help our stress levels to move downwards as well. So it alleviates any pain within the stomach and spleen channel as well. It's very good for difficult ingestion or fullness in the abdomen, any nausea, stomach reflux, vomiting, abdominal distension, severe pain of the abdomen, sudden fullness of the abdomen, what else? Pain of the spleen. It's also really great for any worry, anxiety, or overthinking. And there's this one that's beautiful that I had to have a little look up of what else it's great for. It helps to relieve coldness in the body. And this other one is called Running Piglet Qi, which I think is quite joyous, but actually when the Qi is kind of like moving around much like a piglet does, doesn't really know where it's going, probably a little bit too joyful. So this point helps the kidney and the liver energy to calm down and be less like a piglet. So it's joining in our yin channels to be relieved. So I'm going to stop sharing. As you can see here, actually, before I close the slide down, CV12. So we're going to find our belly button and the bottom of the sternum, and it's 4 sun, so that's 4 of your thumbs up from the belly button, or halfway between your belly button and the bottom of the sternum. That is our CV12, the Zong Wang central venter. So I'm going to relax. Hang a minute, I'm going to stop sharing that. Wonderful. Yes, hopefully you all need this point. We can come back to sitting. So a nice way to connect in with it. Sometimes I like to tune in and use my fingertips and send the breath in on this channel here and connect in with the point. So I've got my belly button here, sternum there. I haven't got much space on my torso. Some of you have got much more space, nice, much bigger torsos than me. So in here, I've got index finger in on CV point. And I like to spread my fingers so there's kind of connecting in with the rest of the CV channel between the belly button and the sternum. Sometimes it's nice with 2 fingers. You might just want to hold the area if fingertips feels too pokey. So how is it if we just breathe in gently through the nose? And as we breathe out, imagine we're sending the breath down the arms and through the hands. Breathing in through the nose, and then breathing out, imagining the breath moving through the arms, into the hands, into that wonderful point to help all the stress melt away, allowing the parasympathetic nervous system to really be active for us to rest in. Breathing in again, breathing out and gently pressing and sending some Qi into this point. Lovely. All right, hopefully that feels all right for you. So just rubbing the area here. The wonderful joy of this point is, as well as helping the rebellious stomach Qi to calm down, on the Hara diagnostic area, just for you to know, if you want to know, is the heart protector or pericardium. The point is in the diagnostic area for the pericardium. So this point connects in also with the chest. So if there's any stress or shortness of breath, this point's really great for connecting the belly and the rest in our parasympathetic nervous system and allowing the chest and the energy to draw downwards. So it's a great one for that as well. All right, so we're just going to do how we're doing for time. Great. One last thing standing to gently open, and we can connect in with this gorgeous point that we've got before we just come to wrap up at the end and check in with our breath again, and also the solar plexus chakra. So if you want, come to standing. Just checking with the chat. Very busy, isn't it? Oh, yes. That sounds wonderful. Not sure which she's currently attending. Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about overthinking, or if I said something that you're not sure what it is, really let it fly over. It's completely fine. But again, as people are saying in the chat, there are other classes and things within New Energy work if you want to know a little bit more about Shiatsu and what the channels do. But if not, just enjoy the breath and the movement. And that is all we're doing on our Wednesday morning. We really don't need to overthink anything at all. So coming to a little bit wider in our stance, okay? Easy ankles. We've got beautiful feet connecting into the ground because we've got that kidney one nice and open. Easy knees and hips on the top of the legs. Wonderful. Easy shoulders. And the movement we're going to do is going to help engage in with the CB and also the GB channel, the governing vessel down the back, which we're going to come to much later in the year. And the movement's going to start from the chin. So imagining you're kind of hooking round something with your chin. So I'll just show it very quickly first. So we're going to allow the chin to move up. It's going to fold forward, softening in the front of the body, curling forward like this. And then the pelvis is going to gently move forward to uncurl the spine. Again, you can do this sitting. Use the hands on the thighs. And it can be a small movement, so we can be much more upright. Easy breath. If you want to go much bigger, to open the CV channel up a little bit more, you can go much deeper using our weight and gravity through the legs, so it's much easier for us to move. Easing from the chin And then when we're at the bottom, the pelvis engages to gently draw forward. So chin, pelvis. Moving easily through our CV channel. If you want, you might want to hold that wonderful CV12 as we're moving. Might want to make the movement much smaller. Easy breath. And if you want, you can start to add the arm movement in, so relaxing, and then as the pelvis moves open, you might want to open the arms. But don't worry, if you just want to relax the arms, please do that as well. All right, so just gently, 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 one more. You're going to come all the way up to standing. Going to release the pelvis from side to side, allowing that tailbone to really undo. Ease in the front of the body. You can brush the front of the sternum down to the belly. Wonderful. All right. And then allow the movement to come to a nice, gentle rest. Just going to roll the shoulders. Stand nice and easy between heaven and earth. You can have the eyes closed if you want to. Seeing how the channel, the CV channel, the breath in your spine is doing in your body. Lovely. You can either stay standing if this is feeling comfortable, or you want to get comfy again, either on the floor or the chair. We're just going to come to sitting for the last little bit. You might want to sit on a bolster or on the chair. All right, I'm going to get this book at the ready a little bit closer so I can see. So connecting in with our CV channel, I'd like to tie that in with the solar plexus chakra. And a couple of weeks ago, I brought in the kind of resonance of the sound of that chakra. And I'd like to draw from the root chakra into the sacral chakra and then the solar plexus chakra to really open the pelvic bowl, create more space in the belly, and allowing the solar plexus diaphragm area to really gently calm down and open, so we've got more space for the breath. I've got this little chart here. It's also got colours in the channel, so as you can see, they're more like earthly colours, reds, orange and yellows. So we can imagine that we're grounding through these three chakras, and it wonderfully connects in with, again, our polyvagal chart, a social engagement. So it helps to smooth and appropriate our movement. It's great for rest and recuperation. And it helps our thoughts to be much easier and smoother. And encourages good sleep as well. All sorts of other things, but it ties in really nicely with being grounded and having an ease of joy in the rest of the body. Okay. So sitting nice and easy, either on a bolster or a chair. I'm going to sit back a little bit more so you can see. I don't know, I seem very small on this screen this morning. Probably have set the camera a bit too high. All right, so now, yes, we're going to connect in with the pelvis, allowing it to be nice and comfy, whether on a chair or sitting on a bolster. I'm going to read through a short meditation connecting in with these three chakras that also is connected in with our CV channel that runs up the front of the midline of the body. So you can have your eyes closed and just allow these words to waft over you, or joining in. There is a sound that you might want to say mindfully in your head, or if you really don't care about your neighbours and you want to belt out the sound a little bit louder, feel free to do what's comfortable for you. All right, so we're going to have an easy breath. Have the hands relaxed or on the belly. Have the eyes closed if that feels okay. Just more consciously, gently grounding down through our sitting bones. Going to bring more awareness to the pelvis and the floor of the pelvis. And feeling with each breath a deepening sense of stability and rootedness. We can gently watch the breath. And we'll do 3 more focused breaths in this area. And as we breathe out, the sound that resonates with the root chakra is Lam. L-A-M, Lam. So gently breathing in. You can either say it in your mind or start to say it, hum it, or really belt it out, whatever feels good for you. So breathing in. Lam. One more here. Staying with an easy, natural breath. And that silent sound stirring upwards to release energy, drawing in the energy of the earth. Staying with this easy breath. Going to draw up to the center of the pelvis, the sacral chakra. And it's our deep reservoir of creativity resting in our sacral chakra. And with each breath, we can do 3 breaths again. The sound is VAM, V-A-M. You can say that in your mind as we breathe in. VAM. Might want to hum it. VAM. Just gently one more here. Then coming to an easy breath. And this word really helps to stimulate our creative juices. The richness of creativity deepened within each VAM. I'm going to gently draw up to our solar plexus chakra, the one we're working with today, our CV12, to help all the energy draw downwards and to be rooted and sit comfortably within our root chakra. We're drawing the awareness to the center of the belly, perhaps that latent determination resting in our solar plexus chakra. And with each exhale, we'll do 3. Again, with a sound, and it's RAM, R-A-M, RAM. And we're going to visualize the vibrations of that silent sound or verbalizing it. It's sparking the fire of willful consciousness that can easily open us to laughter and joy. So breathing in. And as we breathe out, either mindfully saying Ram, humming it, Ram, or being a little louder if that feels okay. Ram, Ram. Lovely. You can keep your eyes closed if you want to. We're just going to check in with that wave of the breath that we did right at the start, pretty much an hour ago. So you can have the hands relaxed, or one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly. How is it to now gently draw in the breath through the chest and into the belly, and then breathing out the belly, breathing out the upper chest. Breathing in again. Waving from the upper chest to the belly and breathing out the belly, the upper chest. One more here, breathing in. Breathing into the belly, nice and easy. It might become a lot fuller quite quickly. And then releasing from the belly and the chest. Oh, wonderful. Oh, I don't know about you, but I feel much more ease in my diaphragm and the breath feels much fuller. All right, I'm going to come and find a last little poll. I think there was a question. My eyes didn't deceive me this morning without my glasses. Wonderful. So I'm just going to find this poll of how do you feel now? More balanced, about the same, or less balanced? Obviously, let's not worry too much if we're not as balanced as we want to be. But it looks like 100% everybody's way more balanced. So that's wonderful. So just remembering that brushing to help the nervous system to connecting with our parasympathetic nervous system to help with rest. I'm just going to have a little look. There's actually 3 questions. So squeeze the pelvic floor in the exhale. I think I mentioned that. We don't need to worry about the pelvic floor. We can really just imagine the belly button drawing back, kissing the spine and releasing. Could you show the previous slide before? I'm really sorry, I don't know which slide that was, but maybe very, very briefly, we've got just a moment. I think it's this, the CVGV chakra slide. So here's the chakras. I hope, Annette, that was the one that you'd like. This is our CV3, which we started with a couple of weeks ago. And here's the front of the CV channel from underneath between the sitting bones all the way up to the mouth. And the last question is, I'll stop sharing that. We will have these slides again next week from James. Are there any specific exercise for the inside of the front of the ankle? That's a really good question. I don't know if we've got enough time for that, but I think, James, anything to help strengthen the foot and ankle. So if we do squeezing of the foot and then using thumb pressures down the spleen channel, the inside edge of the foot, that will help strengthen the ankle. You can also use like a belt. Flex the foot and point the toes, flexing the foot and pointing the toes. This will help stabilize anything around the ankle. It's a very, very quick summary of how to strengthen and help the ankles. Thank you very much for coming on the Wednesday class. And thank you, Shakura, for being on the chat. It was very lively. Have a lovely rest of your day. Hopefully it's nice and calm and we can subdue that rebellious stomach chi by gently brushing down the front of the body and connecting in with our breath much easier. Lovely, loads of hearts in the chat. Have a wonderful day and see you next week. Bye.